Hello friends, how are you doing? Day 1415. Hope you're doing amazing. I just want to share some thoughts on a deeper subject, which is grief. And, if you've lived this life, you've experienced grief in some way, shape, or form. Essentially, it's something you feel when you lose something in your life. And typically something that's important. It could be a person, it could be an opportunity, it could be a relationship, it could be something material, it could be a number of things. But when you do lose something, that's when grief happens. And I looked up the definition, and there's actually a couple. One is that grief can be described as a strong, sometimes overwhelming emotion for people. Another definition, which is interesting, I find, is that grief is the container that holds all of the emotions felt as a result of loss. I'll have to think about that one. If someone's more educated on that, I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you've learned. But, I think for a long time, in general, the thinking about grief is that over time, that part of you will just fade, and that eventually it will disappear, whatever grief that you're feeling. And now the thinking has actually changed a little bit. So instead of believing that, time will heal all wounds, the thinking is that whatever you were grieving over, whatever that loss was, that part of you actually remains. And what you end up doing is actually building a life around it. And so at times it may be fuzzy, or we may get triggered by certain events like birthdays, anniversaries, or even places. But after the trigger, eventually you go back to normal. Essentially, the thinking now is that you actually learn to live what you've gone through. And it never really goes away. And so I think I've also seen another post, saying that, let's say your life is, let's say, a sphere, right? And whatever loss you had, it's like let's say it's very all-encompassing in your life, right? And so the grief actually never leaves, but you learn how to expand and make that grief smaller as you learn to live with it. And it's all a perspective thing. But either way, anytime you lose something or someone, it's never an easy thing to go through. And we all grieve differently. But I think a lot of it starts here. It's about being mentally strong. It's about processing our emotions and not bottling it up. I think one of the worst things you can do is bottling up your emotions. I'm not saying that you need to bring it all up at once. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying at some point you have to process it, right? And everyone processes it at a different rate. And so you never know what people are going through. And so with this post, a kind reminder to just be kind and compassionate and have some empathy with people, because you never know what people are going through in their life. They may say or do things that may be out of character or seem mean, but we really don't know what's going on. And whenever somebody does something, it's never about you. They're going through something, and sometimes their actions or behavior may hurt you or may harm others. And instead of chastising them, maybe check on if they're doing okay. All right, that's all for tonight, my friends. Hope you're doing amazing, and I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.